Hey squirrels, and welcome back to another episode of AvyHD, the place for people like you and me who don't quite know how to be. If you have ADHD or another neurodivergence and you're looking for community or just a place where people understand you, look no further. Hang out with us for the next however long I babble for. Today, we are talking about something relatable and painfully relatable: time. And time impossibility, like existing in a world when time isn't really a thing. Have you ever been so sure that you have plenty of time? There's so much time left to get ready, only to realize that you're 20 minutes late. Or maybe you showed up ridiculously early and you had to wait awkwardly in your car because leaving on time feels impossible. That is the ADHD time warp, where time exists, but only in theory. In practice, time looks really, really different for us. And that's due to something called time blindness. Time blindness is literally what it sounds like. It is being blind to the concept of time. Our internal clocks as people with ADHD don't work the same as the internal clocks of neurotypical people. I was actually just showing up to this podcast recording, and I said to my teammate Vanessa, who's here behind the camera, say, "Hi, Vanessa." I was like, oh my God, I'm 7 minutes late to everything all the time. When my meeting starts at 9:30, I'm there at 9:37. 7 minutes is like my buffer time, the amount of time that I need to actually get from thinking that I'm ready until actually being ready to start the thing. Because what happens to us, right? Like, in my mind, if I have 5 minutes left, that's enough time to like shower and get ready. But 5 minutes is not actually a long time. Why do we struggle so much? Why is time so difficult for us? And what can we do about it so that we're not the chronically late people who everyone gets really annoyed at and doesn't want to make plans with because they know that you're never going to show up on time, and then you stop getting invited to stuff? So let's jump straight in and see if we can unpack this a little bit and solve some of our mysteries. What even is time? Time is what we've agreed upon to be the passing of moments in our life. There's 365 days in a year. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 60 minutes in an hour. There's 60 seconds in a minute. We've all agreed on that. But for most people, time is a straight line. It starts here and it ends there. It's linear. For us, time is, I don't know what it is. It's wobbly. It's like unreliable. It doesn't have a clear pattern with a clear beginning and a clear end. It kind of just exists in a way that doesn't feel concrete to us. Time blindness, like I said before, is literally being blind to time. And it's not bad planning or a moral failing. It's literally a neurological challenge. Your brain does not perceive the passing of time. There are only two options when you have ADHD, because we struggle with time perception. There is right now or not now. And any amount of time that is not now is just not now. So the ADHD brain oversimplifies certain complex concepts. So if I say, okay, we're leaving in 5 minutes, what my ADHD daughter hears is, okay, we're not leaving now, which means that I have plenty of time to do whatever it is I wanted to do. Now, when I say we're leaving now, she starts to remember all of the stuff that she didn't do yet. She didn't put her shoes on. She didn't pack her bag. She needs to finish her game. She has to clean something up. She starts to remember all of the things that she needs to do before leaving, because now we're leaving now. So it's happening right now. And oh, there's things that I need to do before I'm ready to leave. But she's not capable of anticipating that that is coming. The ADHD brain is not motivated by external factors like the allistic and neurotypical brain is. It's motivated very much by intrinsic factors And psychologist William Dodson talks about this. He provides us with a little acronym to remember. The ADHD brain is motivated by 5 things: income, interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, and passion. Income. So unless I'm interested, or it's something new, or it's something challenging, or it's urgent, it's happening right now, or I'm passionate about it, my brain's not going to want to do it. So where does that apply to time and time blindness? Urgency is what the brain is the ADHD brain is motivated by. That means that it's not motivated by importance, like the neurotypical brain. Oh, I need to start getting ready now because something coming up is going to be important. That doesn't work for us. Unless it's happening right now, the brain doesn't want to deal with it. And it's why we're such master procrastinators. We push things until the last possible moment to give ourselves the motivation to accomplish the task. When a deadline is impending in 2 weeks, it doesn't feel urgent. In 24 hours, now it's when we start to pull all-nighters. Now is when we start to, bang out our deliverables really quickly. And we work in this very high-pressured way to accomplish everything that we could have accomplished better had we planned better. And that's a very frustrating spiral of thought that I know if I plan better, I could do better, but I'm simply not able to plan better. And we'll get back to that in a little bit, and about the shame that comes with being the late person all the time, and that shame spiral that comes from running late, and how one thing compounds to another. But because we are nervous and we know ourselves, so we know that we're late people. We have a tendency to run late because we have a tendency to not plan properly, and then we leave too late, and then we're late, right? That's what happens. It makes sense. So sometimes we overcompensate by being too early because we literally have no idea how to plan our time. So you think that knowing that you're always late would mean that you would compensate better. But in reality, what we end up doing is overcompensating and showing up crazy early because we have no idea how much time we actually need to leave for something. There's like our 2 extremes, right? And sometimes we're both. But there's basically 2 extremes. You have your chronic latecomers who are just always late. Time slips away from you without realizing. You get caught up in something, and generally this group has some friends who are very frustrated with them because they're always late, and it really isn't changing. It's something that remains constant, which is incredibly frustrating for our loved ones and people who are trying to carve out time to be with us. It feels disrespectful when somebody is late. It feels like they're not respecting your time. Then you have the other group. You have your super early birds. They're trying to overcorrect to avoid the anxiety that comes from being the person who's always late. Both of those extremes come from the same issue of having an unreliable internal clock. If I can't trust what time is, then either I'm going to be super anxious so that I'm early and I'm never late, or I'm a little bit more relaxed about it. But then you end up being late, and people end up getting frustrated with you, and they interpret your lateness as disrespect, and that can really impact relationships. So that time blindness that we experience naturally leads to time anxiety, where it's this very stressful feeling of like never being in sync with the world. It makes it like awkward to navigate your space that just feels like everyone else knows how to do this except for me. And it can really contribute to some very powerful negative feelings about yourself. If every other person around you is able to be on time with no issue, and you are not, you're constantly being given feedback that you're disrespectful, when your intention is not to be disrespectful. When we're in those situations where you're running late, your brain starts to spiral into some very, very negative self-talk. And then which can lead to task paralysis. You're standing there thinking, okay, I have to go. It's time to go. There's so many things left that I need to do before I leave. I can't tell my partner that I still have all of this stuff to do because he warned me that we were leaving and I didn't do any of the things. But like, there's still so much stuff that I need to do, and I need to put on my shoes, but I'm not wearing any socks. So I have to go find socks first. And I don't know where the socks are. And I don't know if there's any clean socks. And then once I get my shoes on, I have to pack my bag. And I thought it's really sunny outside. I need my sunglasses, but I don't remember the last place I had my sunglasses. And you start to panic. And it gets very overwhelming, and you freeze. You get stuck, or you get angry, right? It's kind of like a fight or flight situation. Fight, flight, freeze. So either you lash out and get frustrated at the people around you. Can you help me? I just need some help, because you're overwhelmed. Or you're just frozen and stuck and like you literally don't know what to do. We call that an ADHD glitch. But ultimately, those experiences contribute to the narrative that you're a person who can't do things. I'm getting a little bit emotional because it's that feeling of, wow, I really just don't know how to do stuff, is something that I felt my whole life. Things are so easy for everyone else and they're so difficult for me. What is up with that? And there's a huge emotional toll that comes with that. When we're talking about lateness, that comes with, again, the guilt, anxiety, frustration, just attacking yourself for not knowing how to be. Like, just do it. Everyone else can do it. Every other person can figure out how to manage their time. It's not hard. Time passes. It always passes. You cannot stop it. And I say this every single day in my house. The clock is passing. Time is moving. And I say that constantly because there's so much time blindness in our house that if I didn't say that, nothing would ever get done. Time is passing. The clock keeps ticking. I was actually driving my kids to school this morning, or to the bus stop, because school is far AF. And we were listening to the song, an old song. Yeah, Anna Nalick. It's called 2 a.m. or Breathe. It came out so long ago, in 2005. Okay, I'm old. This song is a 20-year-old song that I was playing for my kids this morning. And the chorus says, life's like an hourglass glued to the table. And I was talking to my kids about that this morning and what they thought about that. And first they asked me, like, what does that mean? And I said, well, what's an hourglass? And they said, oh, an hourglass is like the sand and it ticks through second by second. And when it goes through and the time is up, then you flip it over and you can do it again. So I said, right, exactly. What happens if your hourglass is glued to the table? So my little one said, well, then you can't flip it over. Like, right, exactly. Life is like that, because when a second passes, you can't get it back. It's gone. And there's no flipping the hourglass back over. Once the second passes through the hourglass, it's passed through. She said, oh, I really like that. I'm going to tell my teachers. So when we got on the bus, she was talking to the bus driver, Miss Keisha. Shout out Miss Keisha, who is absolutely incredible. And she was telling her about this. Life is like an hourglass glued to the table. And she said, that means that you have to live every second like it's such an important second. You cannot even waste a single second of your life, because you're never going to get it back. And just for her, watching her and seeing her comprehend the concept of time is really a very novel concept for her, because she doesn't feel time passing in herself. And that happens with a lot of ADHD stuff, right? Like for example, when our brain plans something, it's like we've accomplished it. So when you plan something and when you do it, your brain gets the same dopamine reward, which is why ADHD people are great at planning things, but not executing them. If it happened in my brain and it happened quickly, it's already happened. But now it's happening in reality and it's happening slowly. And I'm getting frustrated because things work so much faster in my head than they do in real life. And then when I'm late to something that just doesn't feel as important as what I was doing before, there's frustration that comes with that as well. And having to live according to someone else's system and someone else's hierarchy of what's important. and just someone else telling me what I need to do all the time. With being late, it's such a heavy emotional toll because it's often misread as laziness or, again, as disrespect. Like, can't you just get up? Don't you respect me enough to make sure that you're on time? And honestly, you guys maybe have gotten the chance to know me a little bit. I agree with that. It is disrespectful to be late. And even if it's not your intention and you don't know how to fix it yet, the outcome is still the same. Intentions do not equal outcome. You wanted to be on time. You weren't on time. But of course, you didn't intend on disrespecting the person. However, the outcome is that that person was disrespected by your lateness. And lateness is a sign of disrespect. So what do we do? Because it still means that you need to fix it. Maybe not perfectly. It's not going to work all the time. You're still going to have tendencies to be late. And there's things that you can be late to and things that you can't be late to. But how do we fix it? Because ultimately, knowing that we have a challenge and knowing that we have a problem is just our first step to correcting it and to working on it so that it becomes better. Not simply accepting it as something that is, and so therefore we just need to deal with it, like the rest of the world needs to handle it. We need to be really careful, especially as people with ADHD, that we're not ascribing to the entitlement mentality of Western society in our world right now. You are important, and what you need is important. But what you need is not more important than what someone else needs. And it is everybody's individual responsibility to work on themselves and to be the best that they can so that we are navigating the world with our best self and putting your best foot forward. And once you've really tried everything and done everything and improved yourself the best you can, then that's your maximum. That's as far as you can go. That's all you can do is your best. And the people around you will need to learn how to accept that. As always, step number 1 is breaking the cycle of self-criticism and panic. I was supposed to get up and start getting ready. I didn't get up and start getting ready. What do I say to myself? You're lazy. You're a piece of crap. Why can't you just get up? Why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? Why didn't you do this sooner? Why? And then you start to panic because you don't have any answers to these why questions. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do what I was supposed to do. If it had been easy for me to do what I was supposed to do, I would have done it. It wasn't easy for me. I didn't do it. And now I'm panicking and I don't know what to do. First things first, we don't let ourselves get to that situation. But if we really are in that situation, the first step is to remind yourself that it already happened. You already are late. Okay? You're already in it. You're already in the situation. So you can either attack yourself and be later and show up in a panic, or draw a line in the sand, like put a pin in where you are right now and say, okay, right now I need to get myself out and going as quickly as possible. So what do I need to do? Not waste time on panic and self-criticism. What do I need to do? Okay, text your friends and let them know you'll be late. Are you dressed? Great, just put some shoes on. Maybe you were planning on wearing something different, or maybe you were planning on stopping off somewhere and it doesn't matter. Don't do any of those things. Just get yourself there as quickly as you can without criticism and show up the best way that you possibly can. It is what it is. And it's part of the risk or outcome of not doing what you needed to do to ensure that you got out of the house on time. It's okay. It happens. It already happened. So now what do we do to move forward in the best way possible without shame as much as possible? So literally, like, what do we do? We're going to go through a couple of strategies that actually work. Unlike being told to set an alarm, just set an alarm and you'll be fine. If that worked, we wouldn't be here. If that worked, I would be on time everywhere all the time. It doesn't work because it's not laziness and it's not disrespect. It is something else. So instead of just setting an alarm, we're going to go ahead and set up some new rules for ourselves on how we deal with time in our lives to make sure that we are on time and we're being respectful of other people. Because for me, I know I've repeated that like 10,000 times, but for me, that's really what it boils down to. There is intense importance for me. I'm passionate about being respectful of other people and their time. And there's certain things that I will never be late for. I'm never late for a client meeting. I'm never late for a training session at the gym. I'm never late for a doctor's appointment. If I'm having an internal meeting or a meeting that's about me, I'm much more likely to be late. For example, to my podcast recording, I'm going to be 7 minutes late. It's my podcast recording. I'm wasting my own time. If I want to stress myself out and waste my own time, that's my business. But when it comes to somebody else and their time, the importance of respecting them needs to take precedence over my natural challenge of being on time. My first favorite strategy is reverse engineering. Reverse engineering time, or in Hebrew, it's called gzira me'achora, which means cutting backwards. It means that you start at the endpoint and you work your way backwards to find out how much time you need. For example, this works for everything. My flight leaves at 12:30. That means that boarding is at 11:45. I need 2 hours before that to be in the airport. I have to be at the airport at 9:45. Takes me half an hour to get to the airport. I have to leave at 9:15. If I have to leave at 9:15, I have to be ready with my shoes on, ready to go at 9:10. If I need to be ready with my shoes on and ready to go at 9:10, I have to eat breakfast at 8:30. If I have to eat breakfast at 8:30, I have to shower at 7:30. If I have to shower at 7:30, I need to wake my kids up at 7. If I need to wake my kids up at 7, I need to wake myself up at 6:30. So I need to be awake at 6:30 with my bag packed in order for me to get to the airport on time for a 12:30 flight. Now, let's say my bag isn't packed. I can't wake up at 6:30 and expect to get my bag packed and all of those things done. I need an additional hour to pack my bag. That's 5:30. But now, because I added so many tasks on my plate, I need to give myself an extra half hour to panic. So that's 5. Now I need to wake up at 5 o'clock to get my bag packed, showered, breakfast eaten, my kids ready, and in the car to the airport on time for a 12:30 flight. I started with my end goal in mind, and then I worked backwards on every task I would need to accomplish, giving myself the longest amount of time I could possibly need for that task. And that's strategy number 2, which is called time buffering. Time buffering means build in freaking bumpers, like in a bowling lane, right? We don't want any gutter balls. Let's build in our bumpers. Let's build in our buffer so that we don't get caught up by things that happen. For example, in our airport example, I left half an hour to get to the airport. It really takes 15 minutes to get to the airport, but I left an additional 15 minutes for traffic. I also left longer for my shower. I left longer for waking up. I left longer for every single task so that there's built-in ADHD time, honestly, built-in ADHD time cushions for those delays that are going to happen. The other thing that you heard me build in is a half hour of panic time. I built in a half hour of glitching time because if I'm anticipated to do all of these tasks in the morning, I already know myself well enough that I'm leaving too much for myself to get done. I'm probably going to get overloaded and overwhelmed. So if I know that I'm going to get overloaded and overwhelmed, and I already have not packed my bag, I didn't do the thing that was going to help me not be overloaded and overwhelmed. Now I need to build in time to allow myself to be overloaded and overwhelmed. Otherwise, I'm still going to get overloaded and overwhelmed, but I won't have the time to do it, which leads to me getting even more overloaded and overwhelmed, and then panic, and then paralysis, and then you miss your flight. Reverse engineering, time buffering. Practice it. You will get good at it. I've gotten so good at it that literally I reverse engineer my life to the actual second. If I am putting a cup of coffee in the microwave for 2 minutes, I know that I have 2 minutes of time right now. What do I need to get done in 2 minutes? In that time, I'll go to the bathroom and wash my hands really well and take a little walk around the house and do a couple squats and clean up the kitchen counters. And then I'll walk back to the microwave at 1 second to go and open up the microwave and grab my coffee and continue with my day. By reverse engineering, okay, I have 2 minutes right now. What can I actually get done in this 2 minutes? I am maximizing my time and practicing my time. I'm practicing how long 2 minutes is. What can I actually get done in 2 minutes? What is actually reasonable for 2 minutes? And I need to practice that all the time. The reason that microwave example works is two things. One is it uses an external cue. There's something outside of myself that is literally counting down the seconds. And at the end of that countdown, there's going to be a beep. So I know that I need to get all of my tasks done and accomplished properly before the beep. I can also check to see how much time I have left because the seconds are literally counting down. Using an external cue can really help. Other examples of external cues, so of course, visual timers, that can be on your microwave or any sort of large timer. Ones that have like a visual component, which is ticking down, either like a color block or literal seconds that are counting down, work best. Alarms, music cues, or any other tool that you might like. Music cues is another beautiful one. How many songs do I have to get such and such accomplished? So I have playlists that are specific amounts of time for when I want to do things, right? I have like a 20-minute playlist. It's 20 minutes. And in those 20 minutes, if I know that it's going to take me approximately 20 minutes to get somewhere, I like to put on my 20-minute playlist. It's very soothing for me. In my house, we also use songs as cues in the morning. So the first song is Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. It's a nice slow song. That's your slow wake up song. And then the songs increase in tempo from there so that we're waking up. And the words of specific songs will also cue what thing you're supposed to be doing at that time. So waking up and getting dressed has the song in it has something to do with clothing or getting dressed or whatever. Our breakfast song has the word bananas in it so that you know that it's like a food cue. It's an external cue to keep me on track in a way that's fun. What is consistent between the playlists and racing against the clock on the microwave is that both of those things are fun. What our ADHD brain thrives on: interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, and passion. So interest and novelty, you need to be interested in the thing, and the games need to be new. They need to be fresh all the time. The process of making things in your life fun and turning them into a game is called gamification. So the more you can gamify different elements of your life, the more fun you can make them, the easier they are. Additionally, having songs as cues is really, really helpful because an average song is 3 minutes. 5 songs is approximately 15 minutes. All you need to count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if there's songs that you're familiar with, you'll know when the ending of the song is coming. So you know if you need to speed up or if you can slow down a little bit. So far, we've talked about a couple of tricks: reverse engineering, time buffering, using external cues, and making sure that you're gamifying all of those elements. The fourth one is the leaving alarm. The leaving alarm is so absolutely critical. You have an alarm for when you need to stand up and walk out of the house. So this is really useful for those in-between amounts of time where you don't have to leave yet, but you're kind of like ready to go. And you're concerned that if you start doing something, you're going to get distracted. And then you're not actually going to end up leaving when you're supposed to leave. What we do in instances like that is you get totally ready to go. And then you let yourself do something fun. Whatever. You scroll on your phone or you do whatever. You set an alarm for the time that you have to leave, but you make sure that you've already done everything that you need to do in order to be able to leave. You're wearing your shoes, you went to the bathroom, your bag is next to the door, it already has your keys in it, it's all packed, it's ready to go. Once it's packed and ready to go, you set everything aside, you set an alarm for the time that you actually have to leave the house, and then you go do whatever you want. The second your alarm rings, you leave. There's no in between. There's no like pass and go or collecting $200 in between the alarm ringing and you leaving the house. And that immediate trigger works really, really well for people with ADHD. And the fifth trick is really just getting used to time, practicing time, right? Asking yourself, what time is it? Checking what time it is. Reminding yourself at certain cues to check on the time. So every time I walk through a doorway, for example, maybe I'll check the time and I know what time it is. Building those, not habits, but like just automatic behaviors when it comes to time will just help you stay a little bit more informed on what is going on. So you want to know what time it is. Now, there's a caveat to that. There are days and times where you want to know what time it is and you need to know what time it is. And those are the days that you need to be on your shit. But there's other days where it's not important. And on days like that, let yourself be. Let time pass however it's going to pass. Do whatever you want to do. Just let it be. Don't be so regimented. Don't be so scheduled. Give yourself breaks. It is so critically important when it comes to learning the way your mind and yourself naturally work when you're not constantly interfering, and just accepting yourself and moving away from that shame of needing to constantly be on the ball, on time, and perfect. Okay? Time might be a little weird for us, but that doesn't mean that we can't make it work. And I just want to remind you one more time that your challenge with time, your time blindness, and even the subsequent lateness is not a moral failing. It is a skill that needs to be learned. Time management is a skill, and it is an evolving skill. Nobody is born knowing time. It's an evolving skill. It's not a fixed trait. You can always work on it and get better and better and better and find new skills and new tools that work for you in this instance. Remember, please celebrate your small improvements. Being 10 minutes late instead of 30 minutes late is a win. Being 20 minutes late instead of an hour late is a win. It's not perfect, but it is better. And don't forget throughout to communicate with the people around you. If you are going to be late, communicate. Let people know. Apologize. Be proactive. It will help protect your relationships and help people from getting incredibly frustrated with you. Please leave me your craziest ADHD, time blindness, late story in the comments. And if you find something that works, if anything I've said resonated with you or you have anything to add, talk to us in the comments. We want to hear from you and we need your input to figure this out together. Everything, including time management, is about finding systems that work for you and not forcing yourself into societal or neurotypical standards. Time is always going to be a little wobbly for you, and that's okay. Work hard. Don't give up on yourself. Be kind to yourself. And as always, talk to us in the comments. Subscribe to our channel. You can find us at AvyHD.com, at AlistoVA.com, on Facebook, in our Facebook group, Trust Yourself, Trust the Process, or on our Facebook pages, anywhere that podcasts are available to be streamed. I appreciate you. I know that you can do this. We got this. I promise. And that's it from me. I will see y'all next week with another episode of the AvyHD podcast. And in the meantime, don't forget to hydrate. Bye.